like everybody was having similar issues as practice, just being real loose. So interesting that the tires were so much different than last time around, but all in all, it was a good day for us. We battled hard, we fought, and had a great race car at times, and looked like we were in a position to have a shot at winning. And then the last pit stop, we had a little bit of an issue, and then inside restarts after that are just really tough. So the leader on the outside has a big advantage, and I guess all in all, happy with third, but wish we could have won tonight.
Going up for questions, if you could raise your hand. In the back.
Stan Creekmore with Outside the Box. So were you praying for the race to end, or
No.
were you hoping it didn't?
I needed another stop. I needed it to go all the way to the end. We were really good in the long runs. We were really good on new tires after green flag stops, so I was really hoping it would go all the way, and that was really going to be our only chance to win after that last restart. So was hoping it did, but Cole was telling me how far the rain out was out that he thought, and so he was keeping me in the loop on that, and I was just like, it's not going to do. I need 20 more laps to even have a chance. So it was a little frustrating tonight, but like I said, all in all, a good weekend for us and a good run.
Nate?
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Martin, you mentioned the tire was a little bit different. It seemed like all of the lead changes were on pit stops. You came in, I think, a lap earlier than Logano when you took your lead, and Edwards passed you. Is that pretty much? Was it more of a track position game than it normally is here, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seemed like everybody was just so loose. The bottom was really a preferred groove, and this place is just so fast through the center of the corner. Even when the tires are completely worn out and your car drives awful and you're completely out of control, you get behind somebody and you lose just all your grip. And it's just so fast. So, yeah, I mean, some of it's that. I mean, I think that because everybody was so loose, most of the field had to run the bottom tonight. I think that was really why it was a little bit different. But, again, it's hard to say because this track's just so fast, and you need air on the car. I mean, you need air on the nose to go anywhere. That's just the way it is.
Down here to Holly.
Hey, Martin. Holly Kane, NASCAR.com. What are your thoughts had it gone farther? I mean, were you expecting to really have a big mix-up there between the three of you for the win, or?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it may have closed up the longer we ran. I think, Carl was really fast on short runs. Joey was fast on short runs, but he was still a little better, I thought, than Carl on the long run. And I was a little slower than both of them on short runs, but better than both of them on the long run, I felt like. So I don't know. It just you never know how these things are going to play out. It obviously went completely the wrong way for us tonight, but I think if it had went green, we may have been able to race for it. But there's nobody knows who would have done what. You throw another pit stop in there, there's potential for problems and issues, and you just never know. So all in all, just we'll be proud of our third, and we'll go on to Phoenix and try to do good there.
Any questions in the press box? Any questions down here in the deadline room?
No questions in the press box.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Martin. By Joey Logano, driver of the number 22 AAA Ford, finished second in tonight's AAA Texas 500. This is his 7th top 5 finish at Texas Motor Speedway. Joey, talk about your run tonight and then just the challenges that were presented by the weather, not knowing when the rain was going to come.
Yeah, it was maybe such a fast car, especially in the beginning of the race. That thing took off, and we drove out to 6 or 7 second lead, and was feeling pretty good about it. And then as the track kind of changed, we lost our handle a little bit. Lost the lead, kind of went all the way back to 5th, and then we got our balance better to where the car was getting going again, and had a good restart to get from 4th to 2nd there at the end, and with a good pit stop before that, they got us a couple spots too. So the team did a very good job on executing when we needed to. Just just didn't have enough laps. It seemed like the momentum swung the other way. With about 3 or 4 laps to go before the caution came out when I started catching the 19 pretty rapidly, and unfortunately we just started raining. that was the end of the race. So is what it is. We're going to be close. There's a lot of cars that are going to be close going into Phoenix. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be probably the closest Phoenix race we've ever seen. So as far as points, so it's going to be a fun one for sure.
We're going to open up for questions. We'll start down here with Holly.
Holly K, NASCAR.com. Joey, and you just alluded to this. At least you did make up some points and got closer on that end. Are you more frustrated that you didn't, get to keep racing and go for that, or do you take any solace whatsoever in having, improved in the standings?
Yeah, I mean, when you're that close to winning and you lead the most laps, second stings. That's our goal every week, is to win, and anything short of that is a failure. So, I feel like we were so close to that today. But ultimately, like you said, we did gain some points. We're in right now. We were out going into this race, so we did the best we can as far as leading laps and getting that bonus point. There was 2 bonus points with the most laps led as well, but we didn't get the win part. That would have been nice.
Let's go up to the press box.
Wolfgang Monze, Rancho Press Agency. One question to you, Joey. I had the impression the first half of the race, the distance, your cars were quite fast, and then around lap 210, 220, you're losing speed. Was the car handling different? Maybe I'm wrong, but I had the impression you were losing speed from 210, 220 onwards.
Yeah, we lost a little bit of speed, and some of that could have been just we lost the lead on a green flag cycle, and some of that just could be as simple as when you lose the lead and then like cars sit and pit in one lap before you and they gain 3 seconds, and then you come out and then there's another 3 cars that are in between you as well. So then you got to pass those guys, and you're beating your tires up trying to pass those guys that the leader didn't have to pass because he cycled in front of them, and it's just a snowball effect until you can get it back ahead of that. So we needed caution to catch back up, and we had that. And then, like I said, we got back to where we were going to be faster again, racing up front and putting the clean air back on it, just a little bit too late.
Come down here to Bob.
Bob Hawkers, ESPN. This is the second time I've had rain shortened race in this elimination style chase. Would you want to? I mean, I know since you weren't winning, you probably would certainly want to come back. But what's the general? Do you feel like feeling on, on rain shortened races in the chase? Should there be a rule that you run it to completion?
Nah, the rule's the rule. The rule is that you get past halfway and it rains. I don't blame NASCAR for the decision they made tonight. We saw how long it took to dry this thing out. What are we going to do, make everyone stay here till tomorrow and watch it rain tomorrow? It's probably not the right move. So, that's the rule. It's been that way since I've been watching NASCAR racing, at least. I don't know how long that rule's been in place, but it seems like forever. So I don't see a need to change it. It's part of the game. We knew it was coming. We all have cell phones that have radars on it. Everyone's got that ability to see it. So we all played a game to it. I knew I was racing to the rain, and we weren't going to make it to the end. And I knew it was going to get aggressive, and that last restart was going to be the money restart. Just got one spot or a couple spots, just not the last one.
Go down here to Holly, and then Nate, and then up to the press box.
Sorry, Holly Kane again. And I realize that this might be pointless, but I mean, did you feel, had the rain not come, that you were optimistic that you would have had a little shot at him or had something for him there?
Yeah, we had a shot. Yeah, we were catching him. So I was in the car saying it's barely raining. I may have been a little biased to saying it was barely raining. I'm sure most of the field said it was pouring, and I was thinking, man, I need to keep racing this thing until I can get to him, and if that means we're sliding out into wet, then that's what we had to do. But I think we would have had a shot. I would love to, race to the end of the race. I think if we had another restart, my pit crew was on it tonight. They were freaking awesome. So, I would have loved to come down pit road again and give them another shot to get me on the front row and try to have a good restart to clear them. And it seemed like it was possible. It seemed like the bottom of the top lane on the restarts are pretty equal. So if you're on the front row, you have as good of a shot as anybody to regain the lead.
Go to Nate.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Joey, you said Friday night that you hope they never repave this place, but apparently the reason it took more than 3 hours to dry it today was they have a lot of problems with that top layer. Would you be understanding, or if they decide that they do need to repave it in the off season?
I'd rather it does not rain. Is that possible? Start saying prayers. I don't know. I talked to the man upstairs about that one, but I do. I don't want to say I get it, but I do. You can't have a racetrack that's that long to dry. You can't have that. But golly, I really like the way this track races right now. It's a lot of fun. How there's comers and goers throughout the run. You can run the top, bottom. It's bumpy. It's just awesome right now. All but that one thing. So depends what everyone wants to live with. Pick your poison, right?
Go up to the press box. Any questions from the press box?
No questions from the press box.
Okay. Any questions down here in the deadline room? Joey, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Who has earned his 6th Cup win at Texas Motor Speedway. I know you enjoy winning at Texas, especially tonight. Talk about your win.
Yeah, just a total team effort. Such an awful week last week for Carl and the whole team. I went over to him in the garage area when we were trying to repair the car, and he just looked at me and he said, "Hey, I got to win next week." And we all know how hard that is to be able to pull that off. But I'd say that Dave did a fantastic job, our crew chief, getting the car ready, had a fast car all weekend. And Carl did a great job of kind of working his way towards the front, and then we had a total team effort. We had an unbelievable pit stop at the end, and it took everybody tonight. And it was a great night for Sport Clips. And if you think about that car, it's hugely important for us because I got a chance to call, Stanley Black & Decker is on that car. Eris is a big part of that sponsorship, Subway, and Interstate Batteries. So I had a chance to call all of them and thank them. And that's a huge deal for our sport. We love coming to Dallas. I did 6 hospitalities a day. All of our sponsors were here. And we also had a good group yesterday for the Xfinity race. So it's obviously a great sporting capital of the world here. And certainly with this racetrack, it's a huge deal for everybody in motorsports. So thrill for us. I always like to thank everybody back at the race shop, all of our employees there, JD, the whole group back home. Just really proud of our team, and Laura's given us a great group of people that make up our team, and our partner Toyota is just a huge deal for us, and we're thrilled that it's a real partnership with them, and they do so much to help us with get to the front. It's an extremely competitive sport, as we all know, and that's what we love about it.
Also joined by winning crew chief Dave Rogers. Dave, talk about that pit stop that got you guys out there in the lead, and then also just this evening, the challenges that the weather presented.
Yeah, this is a great race for our entire Sport Clips Toyota Camry. It's total team effort. We dug ourselves in a hole a little bit at Martinsville, and hats off to Carl. When I walked up to the car, first thing he said is, "Hey, no problem. We're going to go win Texas." And everyone on the team stepped up all week long. Everyone worked extremely hard to put everything we had into this race to come out and perform well. And then we got an opportunity at the end of the race to showcase some of that. And our pit crew put together a great pit stop, took the lead on pit road, and then the rest is history. The end of the race, of the rain, that was stressful. That's the racing and the pit stops and the adjustments and all that. That was same day, different stuff. But the rain was a challenge because we could see the small cell coming. We knew the track was going to get wet, but we didn't know if we're going to lose the track. We didn't know if NASCAR would try to throw it green again. So somewhat of a gamble. So that was a stressful but exciting time.
We'll go and open it up for questions. We'll start down here with Bob. We'll go Al, and then we'll go up to the press box.
Bob Pockers, ESPN. Dave, I know you weren't the crew chief a year ago, but Carl gets kind of stymied by rain at Phoenix. And then here at Texas back in the spring, a pit stop kind of ruins the day. Do you think any of those kind of situations played into anything this weekend? And just kind of how ironic is it that, you know, maybe some of the things that hurt him in the past don't hurt him today?
Yeah, you know, I didn't give any thought to that, but I guess it's vindication of some sort. You know, you always play the game as hard as you can. You know, the past is a past. It's not really a reflection of tomorrow. So we didn't think of any of that. We knew we had a good car in the spring. We knew that if we could repeat that performance and just execute all day long in all phases of the game, we knew that we would be up front. The rain, Mother Nature, it's hard to control that. But yeah, it's a good vindication. It's good it feels great to have things go your way all day long, and that's what it did today. So it feels good.
Al?
Yeah, Dave Al, Pearce, the Autoweek. This question is not specific to tonight, but just an overall comment on, it seems like teams are having more trouble getting through tech with one or two passes than ever before. Briefly, what is the problem with teams having to go back around many times to get through tech?
Well, I think it's simple. I think it's competition. I think you know, everybody's playing the game as hard as they can play, and you know, when you look at, I think the major problems were this weekend were templates. And NASCAR officials do a great job of policing the sport, but they have a gauge block, and you know, some it's 50 thou tolerance, some's an 1/8 inch tolerance. There's just different tolerances, and you know, if you can get 60 instead of 50, or if you can get 70 instead of 50, you're just trying to get every little bit you can, and some of it's up for interpretation. You know, you set the grid down, you set all templates down. You know, you've seen the grid out there. It's huge. It's a big thing, and all these templates are bolted together. Well, every race team has one. You know, we try to do our very best to keep ours in check with what NASCAR's is. So the only way we can monitor that process is we put those templates on at the shop, and everything fits, and we think, okay, they're going to be happy with it. And then we come here, and templates a little bit different. We took 10 thou too much or 20 thou too much, and NASCAR is asking us to fix it. But I think NASCAR does a great job of policing the sport and trying to keep it competitive, and likewise the competitors are doing a great job of competing and trying to put the best cars on the track possible.
Let's go up to the press box.
Two questions for Dave Rogers, Wolfgang Monzer, Rennsport Press Agency. First of all, congratulations. Question number one, with the big delay of the start, and then also the cars did about 10 or more even laps behind the pace car, did you have to rework your whole strategy? And question number two, looking at the total so far in the season, your car seems very dominant. Is this because engineering-wise you do a lot of things in-house, aero package and engine? And if so, can you give some more details about that?
Yeah, so the first question is about strategy and the rain delay. You know, the biggest challenge to me during rain delays is keeping people focused, keeping the team intact. You know, it's the guys that jump over the wall, they're athletes. By all means, they're tremendous athletes, and they do work off a controlled adrenaline. And it's hard to get excited for the game and then wait several hours. Your body kind of drains down. You got to eat again, get ready, and then you got to be mentally prepared to play the game at a later date or a later time. It's rain delays always make me nervous because it's a great opportunity for mistakes. You know, it kind of gets people to take their guard down and get lackadaisical about things, and so that was the biggest challenge. But this is the greatest group of guys that I could ever imagine working with. They're professionals. They work hard. They take a lot of pride in their work. You know, knock on wood, we've had some rain delays, and I haven't seen it bite this team yet. They're great. The second question was about dominance, and I think Coach talked about that. You know, we just have the greatest support staff available in motorsports, in my opinion, at Joe Gibbs Racing. You know, the engineering department, all of our partners, Toyota. I can't say enough about Toyota. They do so much, just helping us with several technical aspects of the car, simulation, just different engineering tools that we use, and then providing power plants. But Coach told me, I've been working with Coach a long time, and I'm proud of that. He's a phenomenal leader. But one thing he told me when we first started working together was, it's not cars that win races, it's people that win races, and he's 100% right. You know, we're fast because we have great people back at Joe Gibbs Racing developing these cars and developing the sim tools, and that's why you see all 4 teams running up front.
And we're now joined by the winner of tonight's AAA Texas 500, Carl Edwards, driver of the number 19 Sport Clip Toyota. This is his 4th victory at Texas Motor Speedway, and more importantly, you clinch a spot in the championship 4. I know when you came back here a couple weeks ago, you said anything less of a championship was a failure for the season. Talk about delivering tonight in the clutch.
Well, it's really an amazing team that I've got, and I'm just glad to be a part of it. I appreciate Coach Gibbs letting me be a part of this and drive these race cars, and this is really a good test for us. You know, we had the adversity last week. We knew what we had to do, and to be able to actually go do it is great. That was really nice, and now we know we can do it. We've been through it, and we just have to go to Homestead and do it again. And like I said then, you know, I'll say it again. Anything short of a championship will be a disappointment. We've got a championship caliber team, parts, cars, people, pit crew. I mean, this is, you know, we need to be able to go do it.
Okay, we'll go start down here with Mark.
Mark Garrow, PRN. This is for Coach. You've got now 1 in. There's only 2 spots open, 3 drivers there, and very tight in the points on top of each other. How do you manage that this week, and is there any downside to having your teams in this position?
No, I don't think there's a downside. And I think really next week will be super competitive. We're going up against, besides our team, we've got great competitors over there, Harvick, you know, and Joey. This is going to be a real battle. I think it'll be great for the fans. I'd be willing to say we'll pack the place. It's going to be great TV, and I think it'd be a real battle. And for us and our guys, I know all 3 of them want this. They really want it bad. They want to. Yep. They want Kyle, Matt, and Denny. All 3 of them will give a great effort, and I think we'll just be focused on trying to give them everything that we can this week, and then we'll tee it up and. I think it should be a great race in Phoenix. So, and then we'll kind of. That's one of the things you love about pro sports. You don't know what's going to happen, and like tonight, I think everybody would have said Carl was a long shot to be able to get in and be able to do this is just a great effort, and those are the great things we love about our sport.
Any message that you'll give these 3 guys, or you just let it play out like you normally do?
Yeah, no, I think all 3 of our guys are going to give it everything they got. And I think we share everything. We talk about a lot of things. We have a great competition meeting last week. We'll have another one this week. And they'll share everything. And then when we go to the racetrack, it's going to be everybody going for it.
Let's go Bob, upstairs to Lee, and then Holly and Stan.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. Carl, can you compare standing in the rain at Phoenix 35 races ago to standing in the rain here today?
Yeah, that was brought up, and yeah, I hadn't thought of that until somebody brought it up out there. But that's this rain is a lot more welcome than that rain. That was very frustrating. But that's the way this sport goes. It's close, and like Coach said, we've got amazing competitors. They make it tough, and that's what makes things like this special. Is the guys we race against. So yeah, I felt like tonight. We didn't just win because of the rain. I felt like we were in a position where we could win either way, and that was a real testament to Dave and TRD and Coach and everybody. I'm sure you guys have talked about having a great race car.
Upstairs to Lee.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. To kind of follow up on that, I don't think I've ever seen you as disgusted as you were after Phoenix, because you ran in the top 5 all night, and you had a 13-point deficit going into that race. And for whatever happened before the pit stops and you got in the back, you think it could have been just maybe a bit of a catalyst, the fact that you never got to really go to Homestead and show what that team was made of, and now you do? Does that kind of give you something even more to look forward to?
Yeah, this sport is very tough because the outcome a lot of times is not reflective of how well you did. You know, like last weekend, the record books will show whatever position we finished, but we actually performed very well, and we did a really good job. But one of the first things my dad told me about racing is he said there's 1,000 ways to lose a race, and none of those 1,000 things can happen. You have to have everything go well, and that's one of, those disappointments like Martinsville or Phoenix last year or 2011. That battle. Those, that's just part of the sport, and that's what makes victories and days like this and championships so special. You have to do everything right.
Over here to Holly.
Holly K, NASCAR.com. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Where does this rank in terms of a clutch performance for you guys? Because you really did need to pull something out like this, and you did.
I don't know that. I think it's really high up there for me. We did a good job. I felt like we worked hard in practice. We spent a little bit of time last night discussing what we were going to do. Dave actually ran me off from his bus, told me that no other driver was arguing with their crew chief about
I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah. I can't remember what I asked him, but he pointed out that I was probably the only one wearing his crew chief out at that moment. But
and it paid off. You won.
Yeah, right. So, I left. But so I don't know what you asked me, but where does it rank? Yeah, I feel like this is what we needed to do, and we were able to do it, and there's a lot of pride in that. I mean, this sport is so tough to be able to do something like this and to run the way we did tonight when we need to, and the pit crew to perform the way they did. That's really great. I think it's a testament to the team Coach Gibbs has put together.
Let's go Stan, Dustin, Bob, Daniel, and Joey.
Stan Creekmore outside the box, all the way in the back here. Carl, so does the next 7 days become the most relaxing of the season for you, or does it stay just as intense?
You don't know me very well. Oh man, no, I will not be relaxed. This is the part that I love. I like next week we want to go win the race, but really starting right now in Victory Lane, Dave was actually trying to shut me up. I started talking about Homestead already, but everything we do now will be geared to making sure that Homestead we do it perfectly, and so yeah, I relish the opportunity to go focus for the next 14 days on trying to give a championship effort.
Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. For Dave and Carl, this is a tire that will be used at Homestead. It has been used at Chicago. How have you how the comfort level you are with this tire at this point, and is that something that is really that meaningful at Homestead, or will things still be different even though it's the same tire, and just how it feels at that different track?
I think it's a big deal, and I think that there were some things that I learned tonight that we'll discuss that we can apply, and everybody will be doing that. Everybody knows how important that race is at Homestead. So all the notes from tonight and the things that I felt this weekend, I have some ideas that I'd like to discuss with Dave. So it was a good practice.
Could you not get as much out of it because the conditions were just so unique with the rain?
You never know what the conditions will be. We could be in the same situation at Homestead. So yeah, I think it's neat to be able to run this tire on a track like this. This is as similar to Homestead as any track we race on, so it's neat to be able to do that right now and a couple weeks up in advance.
Bob.
Carl, as much as you didn't want what happened at Martinsville to happen, did it allow you to allow it to make it a pretty easy decision whether to stay out or pit when the rain started to fall?
I didn't make that decision, but I think
they asked you what you thought.
I didn't want to be any part of that decision. I think that just like anything, Coach has probably been through more than anyone. When things go bad, sometimes it makes it really simple. And as soon as we had that trouble at Martinsville, the first thing we all said was, "Hey, we've got to go win Texas. That's what we have to do." And I think that really, you always wonder in this sport if you can step it up or do something better. And I feel like everyone did this weekend. We actually were able to do that. And so now we get the opportunity to go do the same thing at Homestead. We have to go there and win that race. That's like Dave said after Martinsville. He said, well, we knew we were going to have to at least win Homestead, so now we just need to get with it earlier. And I felt like everybody did that.
I didn't want to have anything to do with that decision either.
Yeah.
The guy on the end over there.
Daniel?
Good job. Good job.
Daniel McFadden with NBC Sports. Coach, we have 2 races left in the Sprint Cup career of Tony Stewart. I was wondering, do you remember the first time you either heard Tony Stewart's name or the first time you encountered him, and what's your fondest memory of him as one of your drivers?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to write a book on that. But really, it was a wild set of circumstances, and started picking up his name and everything. He was just coming out of open wheel and had suffered an injury, and a lot of people were talking about him, but he had a contract, and so it was a long process of going through that, trying to work it out with the owners that had him at that point, and then to work it out with him. So it was, in our sport, I think he's great for our sport. He's somebody that is a superstar, really. And, I'm glad that he's going to stay involved with our sport going down the road. And I'm sure he's going to still be driving stuff. This may not be over here.
Do you have a favorite memory of him when he drove for you?
When you have I think 30 wins or something, I don't know what it was. But we had all kinds of things happen. And, and so, yeah, I got some memories. But I think Tony, the biggest thing about him, he has a tremendous passion for what he does. And I can remember the very first time I talked to him, we sat down, he goes, look, I just want to tell you something right now. I'm not ready for Cup. And it was kind of a shocker for me. And he said, I want to run Xfinity, for at least a year, maybe 2 years. I think he had a real strong feeling about himself, and I think that's one thing I remembered right off the bat. He said, hey, I'm not ready. And we raced that year in Xfinity. He didn't win a race. He probably could have won 5 or 6, though. He was right there. And then he said, okay, we're ready to step up. So, but I thought that was interesting and says a lot about him.
Go to Joey.
Joey Barnes, Motorsports Tribune. Carl, it was 2011. You were battling Tony Stewart. Go off of that a little bit. In a dramatic championship that all of us remember. But here you are, his final season. Do you find it maybe ironic or coincidental that you have a chance to go to Homestead in his final season and maybe clinch the championship?
Yeah, I was really hoping he'd be there and I could beat him, and we'd be even. But that was truly the neatest thing I've been involved with in motorsport. That was so much fun. I mean, you talk about build up and focus and being able to execute. That weekend and that race was had a lot of pride in the way we dealt with that and raced, and I felt like, ever since that checkered flag fell, man, I just wanted that opportunity again. So now we get it. It took a couple of years, but I'm ready. I mean, that was a lot of fun.
I believe we have a question in the press box.
Yeah, still one question. Carl, congratulations first for the win. Wolfgang won the Rennsport press agency in Germany. Can you give some infos about track condition after this big delay for the start? How was the track when finally the race went underway?
Yeah, the first couple laps, I told Davis this like qualifying. I mean, it was fast, and I don't know what the times were, but it just felt like all night the track was very fast, especially after the yellow flag stops. But the tires held up well. We didn't have any issues, and I think that's a testament to Goodyear. They did a good job.
Any additional questions? Get down here to Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Carl, what does it mean to get back to know that you're back at Miami, because you hadn't been back in the 5 years? You missed it last year with 5-6 points,
yeah.
and I mean, I guess that journey back to know, obviously there's still more to go, but to at least climb that portion of the hill for you.
It's a huge opportunity. I feel I'm really grateful to everybody that's making it happen. I see how much work goes in and how much Coach Gibbs puts into this, and Dave and everybody at TRD, and so yeah, it's an opportunity, and it's so much fun, you guys. I mean, just the idea of getting to race for a championship and getting that opportunity, and to be able to race. I mean, it's not just going there like we did in 2011 to race against one guy in championship form. We're going to go there and race against three guys, one of which is six-time champion, top of his game, and I know whoever else in there is going to be just tough as nails. So it's cool. I mean, it's if we're able to win that, stand here 14 days from now with that championship trophy, we're going to have earned it, and that's as good as it gets.
Come down here to Holly.
Holly Kane, I have one more question. Do you feel that big sense of change? I mean, you came into this race way outside, and now, you're talking about the championship. I mean, just the momentum swing personally, what that must be like for you.
Yeah, it's great. When we made it to this round, I was very certain. I mean, I felt very confident. We talked about it. We felt like we could win at Martinsville, we could win Texas, and we could win Phoenix. And I know, when the trouble happened at Martinsville, a lot of people probably thought, oh, well, that's it for them. But we really did have a lot of confidence. It's easy to say now because we we won the race, but it's the truth. We really did, and so it's nice to be able to pull through and make that happen. And now we just got to dig in and do it again.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thanks, guys.